Hey, hello, good morning, everyone. So, being an actor is really tough, right? No one can promise any success to anyone. I know that more than anybody, and I think it's really tough. But there are a couple of things that you can do for that we're going to talk about today that can help you be successful. So, let's talk about that today. It's 7 a.m., folks. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to 7 a.m. My name is John Henry Soto. It is April 13th, 2021, and had a interesting day yesterday. It's a weird day yesterday, actually. Communicated with a lot of people, and and I handled some things, but it was a day where I was so busy in the house doing stuff. I had to do the homeschooling. I had to do a couple of things with a couple of phone calls I had to take, and I went the whole day with my pajama pants on. Isn't that weird? I mean, I had to be home. My wife was supposed to go to back to work actually, but or back. She's still working as a teacher, but she was obviously home teaching, whatever they call that nowadays. Um, but she was going to go back to in person teaching, and she got a message saying that no, don't come in. We changed our minds. Not this week. We're starting next week. So next week she'll be going back into in-person teaching. I think we don't even know. But so she was home. So anyway, it was a weird day yesterday, but um, a lot of things were accomplished, which was good. And I kind of always, if you're moving the needle forward every day, even just a tiny little bit, you're in the right you're on the right track. And you have to do something every single day. You just don't want to go backwards. Um, and not do anything because you know that there's a lot of other people that are doing stuff. So that's what I try to kind of take every day as. But today we're gonna switch it up a little bit. We're gonna talk about an actual thing that I love, and we're gonna talk about acting as an actor. And I got into this late in life. Um, I was playing music for most of my life since I was very young. Basically, I had my first guitar when I was 9 and started playing when I was a teenager and started bands and recorded and played a lot of places and had a really great band and we did a lot of stuff. So, um, and after we lost a member of our band tragically, um, we after he passed away, we had trouble kind of getting the group together and keeping it together. I don't know why I'm wearing this hat. It's not really that cold today. I just wanted it. I don't know. Anyway, um, we wanted to try to keep going, but it was really difficult without him, and so that kind of stopped. And then I turned it. I've always loved acting. I've always loved films. It was a big part of growing up for me. And I said, well, maybe I'll try this, and I'll look for an acting coach. And I did. I found a wonderful acting coach named Ruth Colorman out of New York City. And we worked together for about a year. And then I started auditioning. After I started auditioning, I started booking a lot of things. And it was really a wonderful experience. And after that, I got interested behind the scenes. I wrote a film and I directed it. And then it came out. And I love that process. And so I've been doing that for a while and I'm still doing that. And I have a film coming out called And On That Day. Um, and it's a wonderful experience that I had doing that. It took a long time because I had to figure out how to do it all by myself, the editing and all that stuff. I did the editing on my own. I took a class during COVID online and I learned how to edit. Uh, and then I went, and now I have a couple of people that worked on the color correction and now the sound. And it's a big process, but it was a great experience. And so I've been only really doing this since 2010. 2010. I think I've done something. I did something really small before that, but very, very, very small, just to test the waters out. But 2010, I remember kind of doing it. So it's only been about 11 years that I've been acting, and directing and writing and all that good stuff. So, but these four things that we're going to address today are extremely important for pretty much everything. Sometimes I talk about things that can really relate to a lot of different things in life, not just the thing I'm actually addressing. And this is one of those times, and being happy is really can be challenging if you're doing it through the idea that you have to make someone else happy with what you're currently doing, or you have to satisfy someone else's plan. You have to go to college because your parents are went to college, or you have to go to the family business because your family has the business, and whatever it is that you have to do, you have to find some type of happiness in it, right? Because at the end of the day, when you go to sleep, when you wake up, there's going to be one time when that happens, only when you only go to sleep, right? um and then you're going to think to yourself, well, did I do the things that I wanted to accomplish? Was I happy? Was I satisfied? Did I help people? Did my life create an impact into the world? And all these things are valuable things to think about, although sometimes they might be difficult to think about, but that's part of it, right? And acting is a wonderful expression. It's a wonderful way to tell stories. It's a wonderful way to get people engaged into a subject and give them the same passion that you have for the subject, and then have them participate in the subject. And it's a wonderful, wonderful uh, creation, to be an actor. Um, but it is a difficult one. It is tough, and I think even if you're not in it, you kind of probably know that it's difficult to get into. You just don't. There's a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of sacrifice. But even before you do all that, these four things matter. So let's take up number one here, and we'll discuss it further. Again, as always, if anyone has any questions or anything, you can always pop them into the chat box there. And if you like these shows, if you like what I'm doing here, please share, like, and subscribe here on my YouTube channel. I'm also on Twitch as well. Send me a message there. I'm on the Isle of Bayonne page. Hello, Bayonne. Good morning. And on my fan page. So we are located in a few different places, and I might be going to adding a few more in the next couple of weeks as well. But thank you, everybody, for watching, and I appreciate y'all very much. All right, so number one is deal with your fear. Now, goes on with a lot of different things, right? Anything that you're really trying to achieve in life, sometimes you end up having a fear of failure, right? That's usually the biggest one, right? Fear of what someone's going to think about you, right? Fear of what somebody will say, or fear of judgment, whatever, right? So the first one here says, everyone's afraid in this business, actors and everyone else. Nothing is certain, no one has the answers, and very few people are willing to put themselves out there enough to truly be seen. No one wants to deal with the profound heartbreak of being told by a casting director, a network executive, or all of America that the art they created was crap. I don't think that ever happens, but I'm just reading this article. It's called Four Things You Must Do as an Actor, which I kind of do agree with most of the stuff on here, right? But nobody does want to hear that, that your art is crap, right? But that's what it takes to make it. You have to push past the fear. And that starts with taking a fierce inventory on what your fear is and where it guides you. Sometimes it's laziness, sometimes it's working too hard on the wrong thing. Either way, you have to know where your fear is sabotaging you, and chances are it may be really hard to see. Where you'll find it is in the patterns of your behavior you're currently following that keep leading you to the same place. What you want to do, making it big in this business, or what you want to do, making it big in this business, is going to require a serious disruption of your current pattern of behavior to find yourself in a profoundly different place than you are now. You're going to have to change profoundly. You'll have to learn to deal with your fears. So changing how you're operating, I know what they mean by that in this piece here. um it really means that you can't think like a normal person. You can't think that your life, your experiences are like anyone else's, because you're doing something that's very, very rare that people do. It's not, even though you go to New York and a lot of actors everywhere and stuff, but a lot of them stop very quickly, and a lot of them aren't working at all. A lot of them aren't even trying. Believe it or not, let me get a drink here. A lot of them aren't even trying, and that sounds like a mean thing to say, but I'm from New York and spending a lot of time in New York and going to a ton of auditions and talking to a lot of actors. You can see what the patterns are. What are they doing to improve, to get better, to get that job? Are they putting the work together? Are they doing jobs that, or acting gigs that, just to get the experience? I did background work for a little bit. I didn't like doing background work. It was not fun. When they call it a cattle call, it really is cattle. I mean, you do get treated like, and not, they don't treat you poorly, but they have a production. They have a big production to do, so they can't cater to everyone's needs, right? You're basically just a group of people that have to be in the background of a scene. You have no purpose other than to make the scene look like it's a real thing happening, right? So when you do background, um, you do feel like, oh, this is. But I took it as like, okay, I'm on a film set. Let me go look at the actors. Let me go see what the camera guy is doing. Let me go see that process. And so I really paid a lot of attention the that whole thing. I did, I was on 30 Rock background. I did uh, Rescue Me. I just a bunch of TV shows and movies and stuff like that. And I can't remember all the movies. Some of them I never even heard of. But I did it for a while, and I did it only because I wanted to be close to what was happening, so I could observe, right? Once I felt that I got enough information from that experience, I moved on. Now that's a very strange thing to do. So I had to change my behavior. I had to be like, okay, I'm an actor, I want to be an actor, or I am an actor, right? That's another thing that I talk about sometimes. Is I don't say I want to be an actor. I say I am an actor and I'm improving my skill, right? So I was an actor, I was improving my skill, and I decided to take a step back to jump into a background gig and to just do background. And background is, it's boring. it's, but you do learn a lot, and if you take advantage of it, you can learn a lot, and you make some money too. So it's not all terrible. You make a little bit of money, you get to meet some other actors there, and that was my point. When you're meeting other actors on on a background or on film anywhere, and you get to see what their patterns are. It's like, oh, I haven't done anything in about a year. I just got busy with stuff. And you start hearing stories like that. You start realizing that not a lot of these actors are out there pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, right? That's sad, actually, because I think when you're in New York City will swallow you up whole if you let it, and when they talk about, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. There's a light, what is it? There's a light on Broadway for every broken heart, or something like that. Um, it's very true. It really is true. New York City will chew you up and spit you out if you're not prepared for it. I grew up there, so I was had a little bit of that. I also grew up in a rough environment of the Bronx, so I wasn't necessarily scared of, like, being rejected or anything like that. It would suck, and I had a tremendous amount of fear. But at the end of the day, the fear is something that you have to deal with and you have to confront it. There is no secrets. You can take a million acting classes, you can take a bunch of scene study classes, you can work your monologue to death. And when you get up into that room for the first time and you're confronting people, it's just going to be tough. You're just going to feel fear. You're going to feel nervous. But you got to get a drink of water, take 3 deep breaths, know your material, stay focused, and walk in there, confront everyone, look at their faces, say thank you for watching, I appreciate it, and then do your monologue, finish it, and get out. And that's what you do to deal with your fear. The second one is running a little bit long here, talking a little bit too much. Second one is kill your entitlement. The sooner you realize that the business doesn't owe you anything, the better. So I'm not gonna read the whole thing on this one here. I'll If anybody's interested in that link, just let me know and I'll send it to you. But the idea, I put the link also in the description on the YouTube channel. You can read the rest of it for yourself. Um, but the idea that anyone would come into this business thinking that they're owed something. I've heard actors say, "Oh man, I can't believe I can't get any work. I'm a triple threat." I had somebody say once, I'm a great singer, I'm a great dancer, I'm a great actor, I could do everything, and this is crazy. This business just doesn't know what they're doing. It becomes you're you're really just killing your own opportunity. You're right. You're it's being cynical. It's not, there's no reality to it. There's nothing that anyone or anything owes you in this business, right? You're there on the same terms as everyone else, and whether, no matter what you look like, I'm a short Puerto Rican from the Bronx, I got work and I'm still getting work, right? So it's not, has anything to do with appearance. It has nothing, it has to do with work. It has to do with your work ethic. Do you want to just be famous or do you want to actually do the work? You know, I love the work. So that's why I keep doing the work, right? And the fame part, that's something that I don't think about. If I ever get a gig that happens, that's great, but I'm not expecting it. I don't care about it. I just can continue to work, continue to write, continue to direct, continue to meet actors and put projects together and get cast and stuff, right? And that's what I'm going to continue doing. Nobody owes me anything, and nobody should feel that they're owed anything, because they're not. Number three is be insanely talented. Now that sounds obvious, right? Be talented. Be talented. I think everyone is born talented, and I'm gonna switch this one up a little bit to say it's not just the talent; it's the skill. We're all born with some talent, right? And for acting, we all have some type of idea that we can communicate a viewpoint, a thought, an idea, a scene study class will really give you that idea, that whole thing, right? But you have to work on the craft. You have to work on the skill, and it is a skill. It's a skill just like anything else, and you get better at reading lines. You get better at reading monologues, at memorizing lines. You get better at interacting. You get better at looking. You get better at pacing. It's all a skill that you need to have. So when you go on a film set and a director says, "I need a little bit more here, I need a little bit less here," you know what they're saying, and then you do that, make those adjustments. Because if you don't make the adjustments, the director is going to be like, well, first of all, you're probably not going to get cast, because they do adjustments during auditions as well. If they're really considering you, they're going to say, "Okay, try it this way." And if you don't give them a different thing, you know or if you don't listen to them and you do the same thing that you just did, they're they're gonna look at each other and be like, "Well, that's the same thing you just did." Of course, they're not gonna tell you that, because usually they're pretty nice people, but they're not gonna cast you, and that is obvious. So the talented part is, um, work on the craft, know it, understand it. Understand that your choice to create a character is a good choice and it's a right choice, but it's a choice that you have to actually work at to improve. Okay, it's not as easy as riding a bike. So you can't just people you get on a bike again and ride, and you're like, oh yeah, it's like riding a bike. You get it. No, it's not like that. It's a constant skill, a constant work. Watch a lot of movies as well, is what I tell people, and that also helps. But definitely work on the skills. So be really talented, and when you walk in the room, know that you have the talent, you have the skill to get the job. You may not be right for that job, right? And that's the thing that you don't take personally. And we'll talk about that in the future, but about auditioning. But you know that when you walked in, you had the skill to get the job. You have the talent to get the job. If you're not right for it, that's a different story, right? Doesn't mean you're not good. You should know that. And that's because you put in the work, you put in the skill, you got this your skill level up to a level that you know that you can get work. Okay. The last one is the one that I end up so many different things with, is that you have to love it. If you don't wake up in the morning loving that you're going to go read a monologue, or that you have a script, or like tomorrow, for instance, on Wednesday, I have a meeting with a filmmaker, and he actually has done some really great work that I really admire. I'm really excited to meet him. We've had some interactions on social media, a couple of voicemails and stuff. So we've been chatting. But tomorrow we're going to sit down and we're going to actually talk about projects and doing things. And I'm really excited to meet with him. Right. So I love that. I love that. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if we're going to work together. It would be great if we did. I'm not 100% sure, but I love it. And I love to meet other filmmakers and sit down and see what the possibilities are of putting something together. You have to get up in the morning and love what it is that you want to do, and what is it that and why you're doing it. Make sure you really have those things down, that you're not doing it to impress people, or to try to make $1 million, or to try to be famous or something. You have to do it because you love it, and that comes first. I heard Dustin Hoffman once talk in an interview, and he said he loves it. He said he'll still be doing it now if he hadn't he did a car commercial, and then shortly after the car commercial he booked The Graduate, right? Just his one of his first jobs, The Graduate. But he said if he hadn't done that, and he didn't get that break, and things didn't explode for him, and he didn't become hugely famous, he'd still be doing it. He said, I'll be doing it in a community theater, I'll be doing it local theater, I'll be looking doing it on off Broadway shows. I'll still be acting. Didn't matter that happened. I loved it, and I'll always do it. Al Pacino used to sleep on the theater. He didn't have a place to sleep, so he would sleep on the stage of the theater that he was working in, and that's where he slept. He loved the process. He loved acting. He loved performing, and that type of passion. And you can go and hear some of these stories of these amazing men and women that and their challenges that they went through to achieve what they wanted. And why they did it so much is because they just loved it. They just had to do it because of the love. So love what you're doing and be passionate about it. Now, these four things, I'm addressing them to acting, but they really go with everything. Deal with your fear, kill your entitlement, be insanely talented, and love what you're doing. Those four things really apply to everything in life. Anything that you really want to accomplish with those four things, you'll be fine. You will do really well in those things. All right, folks. Want to thank you all for tuning in this morning. I hope that this was of value to any performers out there on the YouTube channel. If you're watching there, I will put this link in the description so you guys can go read the rest of the article if you like. It was good. It had some good points. I don't agree with everything, but I think it had a majority of it. That's why I pulled it out, because it was a a good foundation. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you very much, all of you, for tuning in. Make today great. Do things that you love and take care of yourselves. And I'll see you all tomorrow morning. And as always, peace.